Hello friends, this is video number 6 uh, of commentary on 1979 release of Alien, and this is video number 6. I just to bring to your attention, I recorded about 1 hour video as a support evidence of certain things that I have talked about, but apparently I used uh, uh, scenes from the movie Fallen by Denzel Washington and John Goodman, right? However, it duly got blocked because that particular picture apparently is copyrighted. You cannot use it. All right, that's fine. You know, it had like very good. If you want to watch that movie, don't buy a lot of stuff in it, right? But it talks about Josie and a red cat or ginger cat, as well as possession, and then the death, and then the transition of from one body to another, and so on and so forth. That's why I wanted to bring it up and talk about it, right? So that's what it is. Now we'll continue on this here. Okay, so the asset here is what I call is the force of the mind, the potency of the mind, the content of that brain and spinal cord, or which is the entity, right? Which is the being, right? Is so powerful that it burns what's around it. It's so logical, it's so convincing, it's so correct, it's so powerful, it's so effective, it's so yeah, you know, like it spreads like a fire in a haystack, and so on and so forth, and it's burning. You can't stop it from just by it burns through the ship hull, right? So what they're talking about here is if you allow that particular asset or dogma or literature or liturgy or you know, catechism or whatever it is, it'll burn through the ship, right? The hull, burn through the hull and come within. So here the point is, make sure it doesn't come in, right? Regardless, right, or regardless of right or wrong, right? So we'll continue. As you can see, it's burning.
And craft can eat through the hull.
Can eat through the hull, right? That's how powerful it is. That thing gonna eat through the damn blah blah. Once they say, you know, God, that's material from God, right? That's what they're talking about. That's the word of God, if you will. Now I showed you something here. Let's have some fun, right? Right there. Okay, but we'll move on. And you can see it's eating through the hull, similar to that hole at the bottom of the derelict ship, which is really an alien from nowhere, right? And then there's a cave below it. So whatever is in the ship established a cave below the ship, right? A cave below the ship, and then that's where it took those humans and made them into embryos, right? And notice he's wearing the black emblem now. He always wears the blue. Uh, 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 he and Ash, they always wear blue emblems. He, Kane, Lambert, and I think Ripley as well, they change, right? So they're kind of like similar to a chameleon, if you will. So here they got black emblem. In other scenes they were blue, and in other scenes white, and in other scenes yellow, right? So this is where they're residing, is what I am trying to say here. So if they're residing in the red realm, then they were probably whatever, right? Only when they're on their own and about, they probably remove the whole emblem, or they even wear the black, right? So here I can see something, right? Notice they kind of cover their faces and noses. Did you see? They covered their noses because this thing is acidic, right?
Next day.
I don't know why it's. I mean, this is like pretty cheap production here. Those shoes. And notice they also have the emblem, right? The wings, the angelic wings. You know, it burns. It stops you from walking. You know, I don't know what that means here. Really, I just can't make I can't just surmise or deduct any fact from it or any reality here. This here, something is broken, and so wherever it moves, it stops you from walking or walking away, right? Maybe that's what it is. Stops you from walking away. It looks like silver to me here. Eat also through the hull, as I explained earlier, that when food is in the scenery, that means provisions or finances, right? So that thing is eating the money, right? Is eating the stock market, whatever. If you can get like a 0-4, it's blocked. I don't know. Maybe you have the means to get through and then download it or something of the sort. But it's really interesting what I have to show there. Sizzling. It's making sizzling. I remember sizzling steak or something. So there it is. Notice it has a green thing, green slime leaking through that hatch, right? So that's the alien. Right? Don't get under. Don't get under. Storage lockers. All right, here there's a very interesting scene, but I will have at one point I will have to explain to you who Brett is in order to explain this scene. So I will explain the scene, and then when Brett comes up, I will explain Brett, who he represents in this movie. And notice, all these rips, right? Spars or rips or whatever it is, these are, right? These are, I said, like the militias or the personnel or the army or the special units that form the Zion, right? They're being breached now, right? But that's all that means that when you see those ribs, that's what it is, right? Some of them are melting. This means they're getting like their mind is getting a hold of new information that is very obvious. And here, I don't know, maybe you can see it. Here, there's like a face, right? There's an eye here, and there's an eye here. Probably making this up. I don't know. Maybe my brain is imagining that possibility. Yeah. But I see here a face that's like Parker's face. You see it? There's two eyes here. Yeah, there's a face looking at you here. Notice, there's a face looking at you here. It could be a coincidence, like I said. Maybe my mind puts together things that are not there. But they're there, but they don't necessarily mean, or they not necessarily are what I am thinking they are. And again, you see the smoke. Whenever there's a smoke, there's a spirit. Wherever there's a smoke, there's fire, there's a spirit, there's a ghost here, joining here. Somebody is here now. In my commentary, which I did today, number 4 commentary, or retrospect, or intermediary, or hindsight commentary, I recorded video number 4 today, but they blocked it, like I said. Hopefully you will be able to get access to it and view it. It's got great things in it.
Take a look at this, man. Brad, give me, what do you got, a pen? Give it to me, quick. Come on, come on!
So why the pen? Pen has a great meaning, great significance. Remember what I told you? When you see those pens hanging from the ceiling, it means a dogma, it means literature, liturgy, catechism, holy books. It means religious literature. It means a lot of things, right? That's what the pen is. It's, in fact, the first chapter that was revealed to Prophet Muhammad in the Quran. It's called the chapter of the pen. You will see something similar I commented on in the movie 2001 Snake Odyssey or Space Odyssey. Storage lockers. So here is something, right? That face of an alien is still there, right? You can still sort it out, right? It's a little bit vague, right? The blur, vague, but I can clearly see it here, right? So there's an eye here, there's an eye here, and there's like some kind of a nose or something, right? But here, this is a pencil, right? I mean, in an age of such engineering golden age, right? Let's call it the engineering golden age. You know, with spaceships and mother and what do you do with a pencil, right? I mean, it's not even a pen; it's a pencil. I mean, look at it; it's a pencil. And now, how are you gonna stop the acid? By a pencil? Not by a pencil, but it's eraser. The eraser, right?
Don't get any on your arm.
See? The eraser is burned now.
Stop.
It's stopped by the eraser.
Something like that, except
So don't see anything like that except molecular acid, right? So this here is molecular acid. I mean, once you're possessed, you're possessed. But then it's stopped by the eraser of the pencil.
molecular acid. Must be using it for blood.
Must be using it for blood. I don't know. Maybe there's chemistry here. Maybe there's whatever it is. But notice, Brett is in front, but he's sweating. Parker is scared stiff or shitless. Right? Notice. This guy is talking, and everybody's close to what where that hole is or where that breach is. But Parker, he's always scared. I mean, he even declares that he's scared of that entity. So despite his role as a fallen angel, he's really a coward, is what they're implying or saying in this movie. Plenty of truth to that, yeah. Okay, so, but why is the eraser, right?
It's got a wonderful defense mechanism.
Uh-huh.
You don't dare kill it.
You don't dare kill it, right? Because if you kill it, it has already spread, right? And then you're gonna face the consequences. You're gonna have a rebellion. It's got a lot of protection, is what he is trying to say. What about Cain?
There's your pen, bro.
She's worried about Cain and what he's the carrier of what she's waiting for. Now she's concerned about Cain, right? Because she's waiting for something, right? Here's your pen back, pencil. It's a pencil, really. What do you know? What do we do now?
What do we do now? Came to act.
Now notice,
You get back to work.
he's looking at his pencil, and then he's looking at the acid leak in his pencil. What's so important about this moment? I mean, it just doesn't make sense from the outset. If you look at it, stare at it, think about it, ponder it, it just doesn't make sense, right? The acid was stopped by a pencil, eraser, right? Eraser, you erase words, right? By eraser, right? And then now he noticed that that eraser or his pen can actually erase the acid or that literature. This guy is a certain occult that that I'm going to explain it to you just a little bit later. Certain occult that is prevailed was like an undercurrent, if you will. It was not well known. I mean, it was seen, was not well known. It is a little bit mentioned or alluded to. Actually, it's in the Middle East. It's alluded to by a movie called The Ruins. It's an older movie about people going to Mexico with pyramids, you know, and smoking pot and plant pot, you know, like and so on and so forth. So that's what he is, right? But now what the wisdom or the thing to notice here is that he's got a pen, right? So he's got his own religious literature hidden once, let's put it this way. And that literature or whatever it is actually was able to overcome the acid. It's the only thing that was able to erase the acid. This is similar, let's put it this way. This is similar to communism or Nazism or, you know, the Teutonic Knights and so on. Nazism, communism, in the least, right? How they prevailed against religious establishments, right? And say, for example, Lenin and Stalin, the brothers Lenin and Stalin, were able to erase religion in the Soviet Union, right? With their communism, right? Literature of Karl Marx, Engels, and so on, right? That's what this means here. And he is able to see, he noticed that, oh, look what my pen can do, right? Or pencil. Here, they're fixing the communication equipment as well as their role in, espionage behind enemy lines, controlling cells and units and so on.
Okay.
And again, this guy's always eating, except when he's scared shit stiff, right? Be him being the fallen angel, right? Oh, I will prove it to you. And notice, he's got, there's a pen here dangling from the ceiling, right? Right? So, uh, like I said, I spoke of this. You have to review the other videos as well. And they're drinking Aspen beers. I really didn't know what to make of Aspen beer. This is here in the United States, but I may have actually a clue later in the movie. I will narrate that to you or show you that when it comes, when time comes. Again, like I said, eating is in order to get his services, you always have to supply him or finance him and his operation.
Right.
I don't know what that is, right? Uh, like it's like a speaker or a microphone or something. I don't know. And there's that wind chime. If you know anything about wind chimes, aside from their nice clanking in the night when it's windy, in autumn, let me know. And of course, there's your blue and there's your red. No yellow here, right? Well, probably him. I don't know. But here, there's a wind chime, right? So the wind chime may, and there's like a diamond in the middle, may signify actually, like these two things. This is, I noticed, is a Masonic thing, right? They put two things and something in the middle, and the middle is chiming, right? Chime in. You know how they say in conference calls and meetings, oh, you can chime in anytime. Okay, so as you can see here, these guys are working on restoring a lot of damaged infrastructure or hardware, military hardware, and finances and so on, because the first offensive, right? The first wave of the offensive, which was supposed to be like total success, now is a semi-failure. Not 100%, but there's something like that there.
Yeah. Not sure that was it. I feel like I've been in this place a month.
Yeah, well, that says it all. They're exacerbated, and these things are not going well. That could also be a financial place, stock market, banks, financial systems, economics, things of the sort as well. Not just military or cells or mixed thereof, right? These two are operating, underground or, so the scene here that these two are, the environment they're operating in is maybe economics, maybe financial, things of the sort. And there are scenes in there that merits such an assumption, and or let's say support such an assumption, right? Or such a theory.
This place in the first place. Shouldn't have landed on this damn ball.
And I will repeat that to you later. As you remember, Ash himself, right, was in fact mentioning that this place was methane and so on. So this here, the landing is really on Arabia. Why? Because it's got a lot of natural resources.
I know that. Well, the sooner we pack this thing up and get out of here, the sooner we can go home. This place gives me the creeps.
Gives him the creeps. Can you imagine the fallen angel or the devil or Satan getting the creeps? Who would? That's funny. So here is the spirit or entity moving about here, right? So this, like, as if to say, the gestation period is over, and there's some event, important event that's about to take place, and that I would think is the birth, right, or the fetus, right, has developed now. Or in his case, whatever was possessed, right? He was possessed, whatever possessed him or entered him now is maturing, right? Is about to have finished maturation. This could be here, which I mentioned about, the circumcision and stuff like that. This could be here, I don't know what to make of this. Like, aside from what I already commented on it or thought it was, this maybe as some kind of a spy tool. And then again, here you got your 4 and 1, right? That you will see just about every time, right? 4 and 1. And here you get 4 as well, and supply lines and whatnot, right? I don't know what to make of these, right? One looks like a shoe, right? And the other one looks like, I don't know. But this one here looks like a shoe, or it looks like that Lux, Lux. It's that torch that is carried by Aladdin. This Aladdin and his lamp, Aladdin's lamp or something. I don't know. I really don't know what to make of those, really. Unless they were there unintentionally. Again, could be. Now he is looking at him, right? Or the scan that he took of him earlier. I personally cannot figure out what this here. This just doesn't draw anything in my mind, right? Maybe here, right? I don't know. Here. So here I can figure this out now. As you can see, there's like a very big eye, right? Very big eye. And then there's a small mouth. This is a fetus of, say, a dragon or a lizard or a turtle or something of the sort, right? Now I can clearly see what's going on here, right? So there's that big eye right there, and there's that little mouth, right? Ah, look how cute that xenomorph is. This is funny, right? So here, I want to show you something, right? As you can see, there's that Magi emblem of Magi's, who I now suspect are really the Masonics, right? They're the ones. You could call them Magi's now, Magi's or Majus. We call them the Arabs call them Majus, right? So here, those lights, if you look closely, I mean, I said before that you can count lights, right? Here, I thought I saw something, but I am really not sure to it. By Allah, I am not. However, something tells me it's a name, right? Those lights here, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah blah. You don't need to count them, but you can figure them out, right? They are a certain name that came to mind. I am not sure of it, but they surely do look like they're that name. And again, you got like 15, you got your 9, you got your 6, you got like red, and, right? So let's do that. See that big eye there? So that's the head of the xenomorph baby or fetus. All right, so now I am sorting out something here. You see the eye here of the xenomorph? That is either himself looking at the microscope, right? So what they're saying here is that this xenomorph is really him, right? Is really him. And there's that possibility. That xenomorph is really Ash. Here, while he's he is probably a spirit, right? That lingers around, that accompanies Ripley and accompanies everybody, and then he's gonna show up later, right? So he is the baby xenomorph, or the fetus. Maybe not. Maybe he's looking at it, right now, communicating with it by way of eye signals, right? I don't know, but this definitely raises an eyebrow or two, right? Or an eye or two, right? So here, that's what it is, right? he's seeing something or begins communication with the entity by way of the eye, or that's he himself, right? Like I said, earlier, this guy sings his own song, right? His own agenda, and he sometimes you see him like he's on the side of Parker, or sometimes on the side of Dallas. But no, look at him now. See the eye here? Look at this eye rather than this eye, right? He looks at it now, right? That's amazing. What is it? So she surprised him.
He says, I don't know yet. You want something? Yes,
There's a gesture that passes by a lot of people. I mean, it's very clear to me. But because of the speed, right, of the movie and the gesture itself, if it takes less than 2 seconds, and if it's obscured or defocused by movement or chat, people don't notice it. You really have to look at the corners sometimes to be able to sort out what's going on. See, she picked up an instrument, medical instrument, right? You see it? She picked up a medical instrument, right? You see it? Right there. She picked up something. I don't know. Again, you see like some kind of a tail here, or a face hugger as well, right? Sorry for the poor quality. That's all I can afford, dudes. Keep watching. See? Medical instrument. It's surgery. Right? Surgery. Notice what she will do with it. Right on his neck, right? So, like I said, there's no love lost between the two, right? And I think here the gesture is she wants to kill him, really. She realizes that this guy is relative of Lambert, as I mentioned in the earlier video, when she checked and probed Lambert about him and if she slept with him or something like that. She figured out that he's her relative, right? Or he will appear later out of her offspring. He's got heritage by way of Lambert or something there. So now Ripley wants to really, you know what, right? See? See, she cut him, right? Did you see that?
How's Kane?
See, she talked about Kane now, right?
Talk? How's Kane? He's holding, no changes.
He is holding, no changes. He's lying. But notice, he looks away, right? What is he looking at? He's looking at the spirit there. He sees. Remember when he was eating and looking? And then we saw that gesture quick move that Parker received something in the air, tossed toward him. And he obstructed Dallas's view. Dallas will prove to be two different personalities here. One, so he's just gestured, right, with his eye, the one he's communicating with now, to whoever's standing there, pay attention.
A guest? Well, as I said, I'm still collating it.
Collating?
I have confirmed that he's got an outer layer of protein polysaccharides.
Protein polysaccharides. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna have to ask my children. They're smarter than I am. But polysaccharides, I don't know. Polysaccharides, protein polysaccharides, or sacred, sacred place. I don't know.
It's a funny habit of...
Notice, this is very, very, very meaningful here.
shedding cells and replacing them with polarized silicon.
Here, what he means by that is it's soldiers. It sheds the first generation. It's polysaccharides, right? Protein polysaccharides, brittle, may not be so loyal, or, but it's replacing them with a new generation that is polarized silicon, which is far tougher, right?
Which gives them a prolonged resistance to
See, to adverse environmental conditions. So it's generating its its protection. It's all those that I showed you, the spars and reps, which signify personnel, militias, protection, ranks of Zion and so on. But here he's talking about the entity or the xenomorph and adverse condition, because once it changed the first generation into another stronger generation, more faithful, blah blah blah, now it's tougher to adverse environmental conditions.
adverse environmental conditions. Is that enough?
Is that enough for you? That's plenty. He's a little bit bothered by her presence, right? But he has no choice but to deal with it.
That's funny. What does it mean?
See, he doesn't want her to know what's going on there, right? Then this is not your business, right?
Thank you. Sorry. Well, it's an interesting combination of elements, making him a tough little son of a bitch.
Tough little son of a bitch, right? What does son of a bitch means? That's literal. His mother is not married. She's a concubine, right? Maybe he's talking about himself? I don't know. So, he or Cain is what he's saying, they're bastards, right? Now that is a name. I kid you not. I'm not going to tell you what it is now. I'll tell you what it is later. But it's really, I think it's his name. I see a name here. I read it from right to left. You didn't get help with that. But I think that's him. A historic personality. You let him in, right?
Bang at the right tone.
So while she's complaining here, it makes it sound like she doesn't want that thing to come in, right? To be in. While the fact says that she's got her own plot and her own plan about transforming whatever was temporary into Jonesy.
Ash, when Dallas and Kane are off the ship, I'm senior officer.
Oh, really?
You also forgot the Science Division's basic quarantine law.
No, that I didn't forget.
Oh, I see. You just broke it.
Huh? So what would you have done with Cain?
Now here, what would you have done with Cain? It appears to you that he's pleading Cain's case, right? On behalf of Cain, his health, his survival, and so on. But no. He's trying to find out, why is she after Cain? What would you want to do with Cain? So now he asked that question, right? Guess what? Look here. What would you have done with Cain? But somebody else is listening. Make it the camera, as I mentioned earlier. They will know what she wants to do with Cain.
There's any chance of survival was to get him in here.
Unfortunately, by breaking quarantine, you risk everybody's life.
See? She escaped that question, like efficiently and professionally, right? She probably knew what he's trying to get, like he wants to get her position against Cain. And while she has like ill motivation, ill motives, and some real nasty plan for Cain, she wouldn't declare it, right? So she kind of danced around the question, averted the answer, averted fessing up accidentally, like making a mistake and declaring her position toward Cain. And he would have heard it, but he means to have her speak it, and then somebody else would hear it. Who's standing there listening on them now?
I should have left him outside. Maybe I'd have jeopardized the rest of us, but it was a risk I was willing to take.
It's a pretty big risk for a science officer.
See? He's trying to interrogate her, but she refuses to answer.
It's not exactly out of the manual, is it?
I do take my responsibilities as seriously as you will.
Now he's talking to somebody else. He's responsible and taking care of his responsibilities.
You do your job. Let me do mine. Yes.
Milk. Did you see he's drinking milk? That's impressive, by the way, considering to the modern day animation. I mean, that's very impressive to achieve that just by way of Legos and plastics and whatnot, right? And there goes the guns, right? Drawn guns. Now the guns are drawn internally. I don't know why. Okay, the shuttle. Now the shuttle is wide. Remember, the color of the shuttle is different than the ship. It's wide, right? I don't know what that is. All right, so here he is sitting in the shuttle, right?
Yeah, Les.
I think you should have a look at Kane.
Right? Why is he just sitting alone listening to Eine kleine Nacht Musik, right? By Mozart, right? Well, I read this. I am not that good to know what it is, right? So now look at him. He's regretting what has happened so far. What happened to him. He's reflecting on failures, on mistakes, on risks and so on. And here he's like he's in the shuttle because he no longer into the expedition, right? He's doubting what's going on. I can say so much about that, but that's what he's doing here. And most of all about his son Cain. You know what happened to his son Cain, right? Because he took a chance of doing so and so, right? And this has to do with his son, right? Something has happened, Cain, right? So now he's like regretting everything that has happened, but he can't help it. So now he's in the shuttle. He just wants to leave, right? He no longer wants this thing going on.
Why?
Something's happened.
Serious?
Interesting.
Ripley, maybe you need for me right away.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
I'm gonna wait to try and find it. Let's check it.
They're tiptoeing. Okay, back. They're all scared stiff. And then again, you see red color. So red, I think, means demonic or something of the sort. Right? I do not know, what those signs are, plus and minus. Plus you and minus you. No, that's plus, right? So he closed it because he wants to make sure to catch it, right? This here, I don't know what that here, right? This here sounds like a microphone or a camera of the sort, right? So these are items from above, right? This here, don't know what that is here. Looks like a, I don't know, looks like a, some kind of a medical instrument. I don't know. Really, I really don't know what that is. I mean, if you've seen anything like this, you'll know what that is. But that definitely looks like a camera, right? And she looks between because whoever above is now dangling these two for some reason. One is to monitor and one is to do some work with. Now he enters into the darker room, right? The dark room, because whatever it is lurks in the dark, right? And if you saw that, there was some kind of a yellow. Notice behind him. There's yellow. Yellow means transportation services. You know,
No, not in the corner. No, one of these. Just in case.
Mary, she's wearing black emblem now.
Kane?
You okay?
I didn't see it. Was it in your bag?
What? It's up there somewhere.
My God.
Covered though. Anything weird? That's fine.
That's a reflex, actually.
So he knows this is dead. This is no longer living. It's the outer shell. So whatever this was has already transferred itself into Kane's brain, and you know, it's a position. So the old body has been consumed and used, and now it's trashed, thrown away, right? And now whatever was in that face hugger has moved into Kane. Notice what he will pick up. That's what she picked up earlier when she was talking to him, and she just gestured about his neck. It's that very same instrument. That's the one she picked. Now I'm looking at him, you know, here again. That is the name I told you. This is a name, right? It's a name. That's his name. Here, there's like a 5-pointed star, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? And there's like Saturn, right? Or there's some black thing here, right? The black moonlet, or that's LV426. And then this is the Nostromo 1809er, 268, 286, and so on, right? He's wearing now the yellow, right? Yellow emblem. So what does that tell me? It's the same instrument. It tells me that it was a gesture that he really is the xenomorph, right? Ash is. He's moving from one body to another by way of face huggers, but he's still outside, right? And then he's got cohorts that we don't see.
Good, let's get rid of it.
God's sake, this is the first time that we've encountered a species like this. It has to go back, all sorts of tests have to be made.
Ash, are you kidding? This thing bled acid, who knows what it's gonna
So now she's realizing that what's here is very potent, right? So maybe she changed her mind, right, about Jonesy.
do when it's dead.
You know, she's kind of seeing that so far nothing has been so successful, right? Everything so far seems to be gone toward the xenomorphs and derelict ship and its inhabitants, unseen inhabitants, and so on, right? You see what I'm saying? So maybe she's having a second thought about the whole process. Well, so did Dallas when he wasn't sitting in the white shuttle, right? Except this guy.
I think it's safe to assume it isn't a zombie. Dallas, it has to go back.
Nice.
Now listen to what he's going to say. Well, at soon,
It's not good.
it's not. I don't know what that is. Let me repeat it to you. Burn it at the stake. Burn it at the stake, meaning it's a heretic, right? Remember they used to burn the heretics at the stake? But you're the science officer.
Stay, but you're the science.
Again, I cannot sort out the entire
Ash,
sentence
are you
here.
kidding? This thing bled acid, who knows what it's gonna do when it's dead.
I think it's safe to assume it isn't a zombie. does. It has to go back.
Well, I'd assume
Add soon.
there's not been a mistake between the signs.
Add soon as not. I don't know what that means. Maybe you will leave me some kind of a note here under on the video telling me what it means. Add soon as not burned it at the stake, right? But you're the science officer, right? So they're making the assumption that it is a heretic. But notice, she's in total disagreement with him, right? She's horrified that he's given him, right, some freedom and decision, right? Delegating the decision to him, delegating decisions to him, right? Crucial decisions.
Dallas.
How come I changed my mind? All right,
I'm not trying to change your mind, Dallas. I just want you to listen. Will you listen to... Just tell me how you can leave that kind of decision to him.
Look, I just run the ship.
Wait, he says, I just run the ship. Keep that in mind. I mentioned it before. I will mention it again. I just run the ship. So is he Abraham? Is he God? Is he Adam? Or maybe somebody else. But that's what he's saying here. He was sitting in the white shuttle, but he was like reconsidering and reflecting on such huge failure so far. So far, nothing has come up according to plan. So the money safe is no longer there, as what he's seeing, right? Now, she, right? He's basically tired of the whole affair, and he wants to go home, right?
Anything that has to do with the science division, Ash has the final word.
How does that happen?
It happens, my dear, because that's what the company wants to happen.
Since
Now, she, in the other edition, or the DVD edition, not the Blu-ray or 2003 edition, she said, I don't trust him. And he goes like, I don't trust anyone, right? I don't trust anyone. And the significance of that is that either, according to the book, you don't trust anyone. According to Zion, you don't trust anyone, which seems to be the rule, right? Or he's becoming paranoid now, right? You know? But they cut it out of this particular edition, the 2003 edition. The 1979, it is still there.
when is that standard procedure?
Standard procedure is to do what the hell they tell you to do. What's happening in the repairs? How's it?
Who are they? Remember, they tell you to do.
Oh, they pretty much finished.
Man, just tell me so.
Like I said, this here is multi-threaded. It's heavily multi-threaded. While it's talking about a place, it's talking about another. It hubs, right? Space hubs, right? It's a space jockey, right? It jumps from one place to another, from one subject to another, from one theme to another. Maybe they're all the same and I'm missing on it, right? But hey, guess what? What I presented so far is raw material, R-A-W. Raw material that is real and true, right? Could be built upon, of course, by us discussing this. I will build upon it, and this is copyrighted material. Mine, not this, but mine. My commentary is copyrighted.
Oh, because there's still some things left to do. Like what? Well, we're blind on B and C decks. The reserve.
So blind and C and deck. So those decks which are below Zion or operated by Zion, right? They're blind. They're no longer working. Reserve power system is blown, right? Reserve.
Power system.
No, no, that's a bunch of horseshit. We can take on without that.
Yeah, you can leave them behind, is what he's saying.
Yeah, we can. You think that's a good idea?
Yeah, good idea. I personally, I wouldn't participate in such a scheme, but I wouldn't leave anyone behind that was being good to me or working for me. I will keep my end of the bargain.
I just want to get the hell out of here, all right?
See, he's tired and sick of it. So now they're leaving the battlefield here. Okay, let me pause it so we won't consume so much time watching things. Walk in the park. Parker is walking in the park.
We fixed that mistake, big, don't we, Brett, baby? Right.
They're happy. They got an entity and they think they achieved what they wanted to achieve, right? But they have neglected the very warning signal that was sent to them. Now from that planet, whatever entity that is, probably human, right? Just left that planet and spread out in the universe, in the world, right? Via the Nostromo or Zion. All right. Now notice, I explained to you about coffee, him holding coffee and those palm trees, and he never wears the Zoroaster or the magicians, magi's. But notice he's always smoking cigarettes, rolling cigarettes and smoking cigarettes. Rolling cigarettes here means he's smoking certain stuff, right? So this guy, it's time to divulge him to you. And there's 2, 4, 6, and 7, right? So he's a sevener. He's a sevener. Sevener is very important in history of the occult, right? So here he is. I don't know what you see here. I don't know. Okay, but he is definitely this particular person or this particular group of people on Earth. Give me a second. So this guy is this. Hashashin. Hashashin is an Arabic word. It's a plural, right? For hashash, right? In comes to plural, make it a plural, right? You know, go talk to Arabists. They'll tell you what it is. It's more complex than calculus. Arabic is more complex than calculus. So I'm not going to explain it here. So what does that mean? This is a historic heretic movement. This word came into the West as assassins, right? Assassins, via, by way, along with Templars. So the Crusaders were in mix with those people, right? They lived in the mountains, Western Syria mountains, but that's not where they were born. The Ashashin were established by a Persian called Hassan Sabbah, right? He was among a group called the Fatimid, right? Of Egypt, right? Right? And he went there in Iraq. He established a movement led by a man called, right? Okay, so this guy here established something called Ismailism, right? Right? Ismailism. Right? Ismailism. He established something called Ismailism. Out of it came assassins or Ashashins, right? Right? Out of it came Nizari, Ismaili, right? Right? Now, these particular ones, they still rule Syria, and they lived in the mountains, right? Similar to the Cathars of southern France, you know, the Albigensian crusade, if you read about that, right? Now, the Shiites are independent. They are parallel, right? Parallel in movement, right? To the assassins, right? These assassins are now in Syria. They call them Alawites, right? Who ruled Syria and who just murdered, like massacred and murdered millions and so on, right? Alawites. In parallel, a group called Shiites, right? Shiites of today, Shiites, right? Shiites, I call them Shiitas. It's Eetas, right? Shiitas or Shiites, right? These also are heretic, you know, anti-Islamic. So are the Alawites, anti-Islamic, right? And there's alliance between them and you know who, right? That state in the Middle East. These were established by a certain rabbi called Abdullah bin Saba. Right? Abdullah bin Saba. These were established. coincidentally, and out of the Fatimid, some remain, right? You know, this guy came, this guy, right? Fatimid, right? They're now the Druze. Now, don't the Druze, you know, they're in Lebanon and they're called Bohra in India, right? And Druze, there's in Syria and Lebanon and some in Palestine, right? You know, they serve in the Israeli army. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not anti-Semitism if you hear me say what I am saying. At least part of this. Now, the Druze is likely, highly likely to be a type of Jews, at least some of them, right? You know, and the relationship to Israel is very strong. It's more of a blood, you know, relationship or religious relationship, if you will, right? Some of the Alawis are as well, right? But this entire thing was generated by rabbis, right? And the core of their belief is really heresy or dualism, right? Or the fallen angel. That's why here they portray him to you as always rolling, you know, like you know, that illegal substance, right? The one that you cannot promote. So here he's always doing that. So he is the assassin. He's smoking certain stuff, right? He is the hashashin or the assassins, and he never wears those Zoroastrian or Magi's emblem, right? He comes from Arab origin at one point, right? There's something Arab about him. That's why he wears the. He grew up actually in Eastern Arabia. Let me show you. So along with that, there's a group in Eastern Arabia, but it's spread that is related to the Ashashins, right? So you know, if you want to know exactly what they are on the inside, you can search all you want. You're gonna reach a dead end. But I lived there, and I have an idea, and eventually we knew what it is, right? There are quite few demons in there. Really, there's like then human life among them, right? So in the Eastern Arabia, there's an occult that was established 1,000 years ago. That's a Q, right? Comes from Arabic Qaf, right? Right? And then Ka, Q-A-R, Car, Matians. You know what? Let me do that. So Karmatians or Karabita. No, sorry. In Eastern Arabia, they're still there, right? They dress like Arabs and all, and they're Arabs really. But what are they? Those Karmatians, right? Notice Brett always covers his head. He is always wearing a hat, right? Karmatians established by a man called Abu Sa'id al-Janabi. Remember, the AL is almost always THE in English. Janabi. That's a G, right? Na al-Janabi, right? So this is an A. Al Ja N here. There's an N here. A B I. They still, as a matter of fact, this group still exists, right? Right? They still exist, called Karmatians. But now we know they're also founder who's from Iran. Abu Sa'id al-Janabi is a Persian from Iran, and he's Jewish. And these folks still in Iraq, even during the Saddam reign, they were a big part of the government. They were almost literally running the government, along with others, of course. But al-Janabi is a well-known figure, right? He established the Karmatians, who is said to be the origin of the Hashashin, right? Or assassins. They're known to be bloody, folks. They invaded the pilgrimage Mecca house one time and they killed all the pilgrims and in cold blood and so on. Oh, they're stained with blood. These guys are swimming in blood, you know. And they're loose ethics and they live like animals, basically similar to, you know, those eyes wide shut and so on. Anyways, so that's that, right? Now, where is an evidence? There's an evidence, you see. This is dated or briefed in a certain well-known movie, iconic movie. They tell you about them, right? And the relationship between them and, of course, Judaism, right? Or the Jews. It's called it's called The Shawshank right? That's how you do it. Redemption. Shawshank Redemption. Oh, yes, yes. Dufresne is a Jew. The warden is God. Or they call him the devil or whatever it is, right? Right? And Rita Hayworth is these. Oh, yes. Dufresne hid behind it or within it. Established it, and hid within it. Rita Hayworth, the actress, yes. In that movie, she's talking about all those that I mentioned, Hashashins, Karmatians, and so on and so forth. Or Nizari Ismailis in particular. That movie is about this. Same thing. Hovers around the same thing, same subject. Same center. Same core, same. Okay, let's continue. She's drinking beer. I don't know. Non-alcoholic beer. You know, certain people drink beer, right? While he smokes.
What I think we should do.
So he's the assassin.
He's got this.
So now we're going back. We're going to go back and say, remember the pencil? That the literature, the underground literature he has was able to erase the Islamic literature, if you will. Well, successful up to a degree, right? In the Middle East. But it wasn't just literature versus literature. It was more of a entrapment, if you will, right?
Why don't we stop it where it is? You can always get to the doctor
He's eating as usual, right? Stop it where it is.
when we get back home.
Right.
So if Parker was the fallen angel, then that's his sidekick, meaning he worships him. Notice what she says.
Whenever he says anything, you say, right, you know that?
What she's saying here, the gist of it is that this guy, worships Parker, right?
Right.
Parker, what do you think? He stabbed his balls around and says, right, it's like a regular parrot.
Yeah. Let's shape up. What are you supposed to have in paradise?
Right.
You may think this is funny, this is not funny. What is being said right now, she is exposed him that he worships Parker. That occultist worships Parker. I can't tell what this is here, really.
Come on, knock it off.
But this guy is above all, right? He is the man with power on the ship. And then you see there. Now here, you will see those containers. One of them contains whatever he's smoking.
I have to go into quarantine. And that's it.
Quality, ditch weed, right? That's quality weed. This is very funny. Give me a second. Yeah, okay.
So we.
I don't know what the heck that is.
Well, something to lower your spirits. Well, according to my calculations, based on time spent getting to and from the planet,
Just give me the short version. How far to Earth?
10 months.
Oh, God.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Thomas, I think you should come and see Kane.
Has his condition changed?
It's simpler if you just come and see him.
We're on our way.
Notice, Ash is always with Kane. He's on a mission. He's got an assignment that he's keeping with high fidelity. Okay, notice what's behind him.
Right.
All right, I see what's behind him. What they're saying, he was sitting covering, right? Here, there's a UFO, right? Some kind of a weird animal or creature, right? These two. And here, I don't know what the heck that is. Here, there's some kind of a two guys, one guy exiting from, like this is the movie Signs and Shining, outside in the, you know, uh, the one and two walking out of the cornfield, and I don't know what this here, but this here is a Cadillac, right? Is a telltale car. Why? Because when the oil was discovered, right, those Karmatians in eastern of Arabia, who is headed by Judaism. So the upper echelon is really Jewish, right? The lower part is really Arabs, but they're Karmatians, right? Like that's what he is, right? And they worship the guy downstairs, who's Parker in this case, right? But when they discovered the oil, they had preference for the Cadillac cars, right? So they always drove Cadillacs, right? At the start when the oil was discovered in the 50s and later 60s, and I think so 70s and so on, you would go into Saudi at least, or the Gulf Arab countries, and you would see them driving Cadillac, right? They love Cadillacs, right? They're luxury cars and so on and so forth. Otherwise, you can say, look at that escargot. Okay, here, this is similar to the first gathering on the table after the awakening, right? And it says the Last Supper. Now I got confused. Is this guy Jesus? Well, we know Jesus didn't have any children, right? But you never know, right? I mean, that's one of the confusing moments here. Again,
Terrific. Next silly question.
all right, as you can see, I don't know what that is. That's like monitoring or something of the sort. Now here, I told you early on that there's a plot against him. He's the first carrier, right, of the money safe, or the xenomorph, right? And this guy is eating, right? And this guy's always eating. You always have to feed him shares and dollars and bonuses and whatnot, right? Otherwise, you got a problem in your hands, right? Now, where's Dallas? I don't see him. She is monitoring the situation. Again, she could be, when she was talking to Ash and everybody else about exposing of the xenomorph, right? Or that facehugger, she could be acting, right? But here, it becomes very obvious that there was really a plot, right? Between Ripley, Parker, and Brett. It'll show up in a minute. As a matter of fact, I think they just handed him the poison. Notice. Parker. Notice Parker. He just handed him the poison.
Terrific. Next silly question.
Now he is handing him a cup. I don't know what he means by that, whether he's just giving him a cup or the antidote or another cup of poison. I don't know, because like I said, he's a bit confusing. Sometimes you see him on Kane's side and Lambert's side. Sometimes you see him, on Parker's side. Sometimes he's operating alone. You just can't figure out what he's doing. Yeah, that's probably that's fair to say. He's probably given him an antidote, or not. There's just another one cup of poison, because now he gets killed, right? Because if he gets killed, they force the transition of whatever entered him into Jonesy.
Remember anything about the plan?
Now they're checking on him, right? Which tells you there was a plot and a plan all along, that he, and at least here, probably not, but he is like dead. He looks like dead, right? Remember when I told you he looks like dead, right? It means a threat or a promise, or that's what's coming his way. And I said before that she was like as dumb as whatever, right? At least that's the role she's taking here, right? And notice he's wearing a dress, right? It's like some kind of a women's dress. I don't know what it is. Meaningly, the Last Supper, meaningly he doesn't get married or anything of the sort, right? But no, I am leaning toward him. You know, whatever assumptions they're making, I really don't know. Or it could be that he doesn't get married, you know, blah blah.
What's the last thing you did?
See, they're watching him because they want to make sure that whatever out there, the money safe, has come into him.
Remember some horrible dream about smothering?
Smothering. Smothering. See? Oh, he got something there.
Anyway, where?
So his mind is lost, right? Something else is now seized his brain and his memory and.
Oh, right here.
So he's a zombie, right? So he's a zombie.
We're on our way.
Now, burn it on the stake.
No.
Yeah, back to the.
Freeze Arenos. Remember when Parker was saying, freeze him, why don't you freeze him, when he first was in the infirmary, right? And they were checking that thing on his face. So freeze Arenos, what is freeze Arenos? Freeze Arenos is really death, right? Or they throw him out in space once he's dead. That's what he means. See, it's a plot now. The plot is very obvious, right?
Oh, freezer rails.
A gunpowder plot. See, they're all in on it. They know that he's got what it takes, right? What he was sent out there for, and now they have him back.
Gotta have something to eat.
He wants something to eat now, right?
I need some.
Oh, this guy's happy now. Oh, look, he's happy. He put the spoon right in his mouth, right?
One more meal before bedtime, I'm buying.
I'm buying. Let's repeat that. Everybody's happy now. The bait has caught a fish. The hook. They hooked the big fish.
Bedtime, I'm buying.
Hey, that's a
Oh, let's try that again.
I'm buying.
Oh, man.
Hey, that's a. Gotta have something to eat. I need some.
One more meal.
Okay. What do you think he's saying here? I am buying. Bedtime. Time to relax. Go to bed. But he's buying. Now he's buying share on the stock market because now they secured the force that is going to propel the stock market up and they are in control of it, right? That's what he's saying. I am buying. He's buying. I am not buying. I personally don't buy shares, right? On the stock market or the slaughterhouse, right? But that's what he's saying. Now they secured control of the market. Now he's buying shares now. Time to buy. And that's, I don't know, 1980, 81. That's, I personally, left the country of Syria in 1980, mid of 1980, right? And then was in the US in February 11, 1981.
Before bedtime.
And I remember, maybe it's my luck, not my luck. The stock market took off from then on, right? It was something like 2,000, 3,000, and now it's what they still charge all kind of money on accounts and so on and so forth. So maybe my account, I don't know, maybe your account, right? And now the stock market is so and so. I am not buying, not $1.
Hey, that's a break.
All right. So here we're gonna see something pretty crucial, pretty good, right? And I will end the video with it. You can see Balaji now is attending the banquet, right? Right, Balaji, and there's someone here drinking the beer, right? Right, drinking that beer. So there are two invisible entities. He's aside from whoever is around the table. So everybody is buying. This guy is buying industrials. This guy is buying financial. Blah, 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 blah. And there's your ticker right up here. That's your TV. That's your ticker. They're happy, right? They're dineros, dollar. Jeez, he's pointing toward him. He makes money too. Remember, if you're watching those financial TVs, you know, and those anchors, the one who's trying to sucker you into, I mean, sell you some stuff to say, I'm buying this, or you're buying that, or I bought this and I bought that. Notice there's a side conversation between him and Lambert.
First thing I'm gonna do when I get back is to get some decent food.
See, he asked her.
I'm eating versatile.
What?
Don't taste better.
The other one over there. See what he told her? Both of them. They're like greedy as a weasel.
You pound down the stuff like this.
Yeah, you pound down the stuff like there's no tomorrow, right?
I'd rather be eating something else, but
He'd rather be eating something else, but right now he's thinking food.
right now.
The posse or the partnership now, they secured the safe, right? The money's safe. It's on the ship and they're out. Shooting will start in shortly. Just give it some time.
You know what it's made of.
I don't want to talk about what they do.
It's virtual.
I'm eating this.
Did you see that? There's Jonesy. Jonesy is ready to receive the transfers, right? So now they killed him, right? They poisoned him. Or if I am mistaken, then they miscalculated and they're just realizing that, right? He's choking on the investment. I mean on the food. Okay, I told you before that they try to make you feel remember when okay, they blocked that video, the one I just made before this now. When Denzel Washington, who's Hobbs, shot the police chief, right? And then he apologized from him beforehand and so on and so forth. Here they have a fiction that said if they want to kill you or assassinate you without you knowing it, right? They try to look like they're helping you because they have something about people after this coming back for revenge, right? There's some truth to that. So now they want the spoon. Whatever he coughs up, they want to inherit his powers and his abilities and his investment and all that he has, right? So that's what the spoon means. Right? So when he says there's no spoon, I had different explanations back then, but one of the explanations is it could be there's no spoon means there's no money. Really, you do this for no money. Or it means a sperm, remember? So now they're trying to appear as if they're helping him, while meantime they're holding him down. Why are they holding him down? Well, because he may regurgitate the poison, right? You know, he will try to regurgitate the poison, right? Or run away or something of the sort. But meantime, they appear as if they're helping him. And notice everybody is against him, right? The only one is in distress are really two. Lambert is in distress, right? Notice. Notice Ripley. See Ripley? She's inquisitive, right? And she got something in her hand yellow. But this woman here is in distress. Notice, she gets the blood and she starts yelping and yelling and crying and screaming, just as a mother would feel toward her child, right? Right? But nobody else gets any blood, gets sprayed or, you know, smeared with blood or squirted blood on, or like except she and some Dallas, but she in particular, and she cries like a baby. All right. Now where have I know this xenomorph. See this xenomorph? I know him. I've seen him before. This juvenile xenomorph is so intelligent, is so smart. One day I saw him. A human woman, was in distress and about to die, and this xenomorph came to her rescue. And sure enough, he rescued her. He didn't just rescue her, he knew precisely what to do to make sure she survived. Now I am looking at this creature here. What am I seeing? This is not the eye. Oh, no, no, no. Let's see. This is the eye, right there. See the eye? This is not the eye. This is the eye, right there, right? Sorry. Right? See the eye? That's the eye. This here is not the eye. This juvenile is a sperm whale. This is a sperm whale. A juvenile sperm whale. Moby Dick. Uh-oh, sorry. Call me Ishmael. Didn't I tell you this guy was Ishmael? Call me Ishmael. This is Moby Dick. It's a baby juvenile sperm whale. Right? Call me Ishmael. Now, why Ishmael? Well, he's Ishmael, right? Herman Melville. There's your Moby Dick, right? There are his eyes, right? I've been reading this novel for a long time. So it means one thing. Sperm whale means he's become, according to the Bible, right? He's going to become numerous and nations and right? He's going to make him nations and numerous, right? Two, he parallels that novel. You see, that novel always also has the same subject, the same theme, hovers around the same theme as that and as everything else, right? That evil entity, Moby Dick, the white whale, right? Sperm whale. That's who he is, right? That's who he is. It's a juvenile sperm whale. Where did I see him? It was in the ocean when this woman was way down, right? And then she lost her oxygen and she started flailing. And the juvenile sperm whale came from below, lifted her gently all the way to the surface. It knew it was short on oxygen. That's what I'm seeing here. A sperm whale, juvenile sperm whale, right? Look, 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 look. That's the eye. I think that's the eye. Or that's the eye. Whatever, right? So that's the sperm whale here. And that's Ishmael. Call me Ishmael. So the relationship is now very obvious. Give me a second here. Notice. What's her name? Lambert is smeared with blood and a little bit on Dallas. Did you see it? This is a little bit clearer now. So I think that's the eye here. But that's a sperm whale. Moby Dick, call me Ishmael. Look at here. Notice there's blood on Dallas, right? But not everybody else. Okay, I'm gonna show you something else here. Give me a second. So notice this is during that session where the entity or the sperm whale reaches out of Ishmael, or call me Ishmael. He's pointing toward his face, right? So here's that, here's that. That's his handle. That's his hand. That's his offspring, right? Now, I want to tell you something here. Give me a second. This is a deleted scene. His father is very concerned, and so is his mother, but not these guys, right? Notice his hand. Notice his hand, how he moves it as if he's holding it by hand. Notice.
Keep away from it! Oh, no. Oh, touch it! Don't touch it!
Notice. Keep noticing. See how he moves his hand? Okay, notice what I said here earlier about the Cain's arm. When he raises it like that, he's mentioning something. See, he just breathed. So he's in his head probably. In addition to this, and how Cain reached for the xenomorph, right? Equals the xenomorph, right? Like that, right? In addition to Ash protecting the face hugger and the xenomorph, in addition to Ash disappearing, you can begin to clearly see the role of Ash here. That is not so obvious. All right, so we'll finish here, and we'll continue tomorrow. I'm really sorry they blocked my video, my other video. I don't know how to publish it because it's got apparently copyright. The movie is called Fallen by Denzel Washington, and if you watch it all, you will realize what I'm talking about there. I put like about an hour of commentary on that movie, which is relevant to this movie, Jonesy, and the position and entering someone, and you know, some fun in there as well, you know, like and some political stuff and so on. But yeah, that one, it tells you that I'm not the only one who paid attention to this, right? So here we go. This is number 6, video number 6. Hopefully we'll get some comments on this, and probably if not, move on to number 7. Bye now. October 29th, 3:04 p.m.